There's a price right now that you're paying on your life, and almost nobody brings it up. It's not on your income, it's on your health. And it's quietly draining your confidence, your focus, your self-esteem, and yes, your ability to earn money. Because here's what nobody connects. When your health goes up, it doesn't just change your body, it changes everything in your life. It raises your energy, your creativity, the way you carry yourself in a room, the way you lead, the way you sell, the way you show up for the people you love. Health is the first wealth. Not because it sounds nice on a mug, because it's the account every other result in your life gets withdrawn from. And in the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to give you the exact steps to start paying yourself back starting today. Now, these are not theory. These are steps that you can run right away. Now, let me describe someone to you. And you tell me if this person sounds familiar. You're driven. You've built something. From the outside, you look like you've got it handled. But you keep waking up tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. You push through the afternoon on caffeine and willpower. And somewhere along the way, your health became the thing you'd get to later, after the next opportunity, after Sunday. I'm going to start on Monday, after the next quarter, after things start settling down, then I'll prioritize it. Here's what I need you to see. That later is what is costing you millions of dollars. It is costing you opportunities. It is costing you right now today in places you're not even connecting to your health. When your energy is low, your vibration is low. Well, why is that important? Because where your vibration is, it dictates exactly what you're attracting into your life. I want you to take a good look at your current results. They are telling a story, and health is a big part of that story. When your confidence is low, because confidence isn't a mood, it's partly just having fuel in the tank. When your confidence is low, you play smaller. You don't make the bold ask. You don't take the swing. You negotiate from weakness. And every one of those moments has a dollar figure attached to it. So this isn't a fitness video. This is a video about the engine driving us underneath of everything you're building. I'm going to show you exactly how this works and then exactly how to turn it on. Most people think health is one isolated category of life. Eat well, sleep, exercise, a box you check, separate from your money, your relationships, your work. That's the mistake. Health isn't a category. It is the foundation of wealth. It is where every other category in your life is built from. Let me show you the chain. It starts with energy. When you raise your health, you raise your available energy, physically and mentally. That's the first domino. Energy is 99.999% of everything. But energy raises your confidence. Energy gives your mind direction. Not affirmations, actual capacity. When you have fuel, when you are on fire, it's because you're taking care of your energy. You're taking care of your health. When you feel capable, well, what happens is feeling capable changes how you show up. You have this knowingness to you. You have a different certainty to you. Confidence raises your self-esteem, and we bring our self-esteem everywhere we go. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you said you'd move your body and you did. You deposit a health consciousness. You're depositing literally money in that bank. And this is little proof compounded over time that creates big evidence. Now that proof compounds into self-respect. That proof compounds into self-esteem. And self-esteem is what is reshaping your identity. So you stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. And your identity drives every decision you make on autopilot. And that identity is unlocking your earning power, because a person with energy thinks more clearly. Now, I want you to type in the chat right now. If you're watching this, you're listening to me, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired for settling for less. And the only one word that I want you to type in is wealth, because health is wealth. Now, understand, a person with confidence is bold, and abundance demands us to be bold. Now, if you want to really create abundance as your natural state, then we've got to take care of your energy. What is the prerequisite of that? I want you to get in world-class health. I want you to get in the best shape of your life. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to deposit great words inside of you and stop depositing negativity, limiting beliefs, because all you're depositing is poison, and that's all you're going to create. Now remember this. If you're in poor health right now, your body is a manifestation of your mind. So that starts with your words. A person with high self-esteem charges what they're worth, but before they charge what they're worth, they're so disciplined in their thinking. Now, a rested, clear brain is more creative, and creativity is where the money actually comes from. Energy to confidence, to self-esteem, to identity, to income. That's the formula. And it all starts with one domino that most successful people are neglecting. Now, let's think about this for a second. Let's say you are watching this and monetarily you're successful. But are you going to have the years to enjoy that success? Are you going to be able to enjoy the experiences? I don't want you to not put full attention on how important health is. Now, I lived this in reverse for years, so I could speak on this. Building wealth while spending my health to pay for it until I flipped it. And when the health came first, every other number started climbing. Now, let me show you how to start this. So why does everybody already know this and still not do it? Why do you say, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life, I'm going to release weight, and you never get started? Because it's a start that stops most people. Why do you start every Monday and quit by Thursday? Does this sound familiar? It's not because you're lazy or undisciplined. It's because you're not committed. It is not a priority. You and I do everything when we have enough emotional reasons to do it. It's because you're trying to change a behavior while keeping the same identity. You say, I'm someone who struggles with this, but I'll force myself this week. Force never works. You have to connect your health, just like any other goal in your life, to changing your life. And I can promise you, when you do, your life is going to change. Now, I'm a great example of this. This past August, I said, what are you doing? To myself. What are you doing? You have every area of your life that you are putting so much attention, but you are not putting attention on your health. And I made one decision. And this is the decision I want you to make, because everything else came up with me. I made a decision that I was going to get in the best shape of my life. It was a firm, convicted, no way out decision. And now, months later, I'm in the very best shape I've ever been in. I'm talking about better than I was when I was playing sports in my teenage years and 20s. Now, what happened? I changed my identity with a decision. See, I used to force it. I said, oh, I'm going to follow this plan, this plan, this plan, and it never worked. Why? Because I never made a committed decision. But you know what else happened when I made that committed decision? Every area of my life went up, and I started liking myself more. Well, that impacted every other area of my life, and now I have so many of my clients who watch my transformation, and they've done it themselves. Why? Because example. You lead by example. Now, when you're forcing, understand this. Force negates, force tells the world, I don't have. And what you're going to do is you're going to repel it. Force runs on willpower, and willpower is like a battery that drains a little every day, and by Thursday it's dead. The old identity overtakes it, and you snap right back. And you might not even go back to really what you committed you were going to do on that Monday for another year. But here's the shift that changes everything. You don't rise to your goals, you always follow to your standards. And standards become your identity, not your effort. Identity drives everything you and I are doing. Every result we are getting is based on our identity. Who am I being right now? When being healthy becomes part of who you are, the behavior stops requiring willpower. A person who is healthy doesn't fight the choice, doesn't fight the workout, doesn't fight the exercise. They just make it a way of being, just like brushing your teeth. So do something with me right now, because this is where it gets real. In the comments, finish this sentence. When I have more energy, the first thing I'll do differently is X, whatever that is. Maybe for you, it's show up sharper in your business. Maybe it's be more present with your kids at night. Maybe it's finally having the confidence to make the big move. Type it. Be specific. I want you to name it because I want you to name what's on the other side of this and how you give yourself a reason strong enough to actually get started. And I read these comments and I'll tell you what I've seen coaching hundreds of thousands of people in my career. The ones who name it and claim it are the ones who follow through. So don't scroll past. Now stay with me because now I'm handing you the steps. Now step one, and it's the one everything else hangs on. So don't skip it. Don't set a goal that says I want to get in shape. A goal lives in the future and begs. Instead, I want you to make a decision with me like I told you that I made the decision in the present tense that I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. I want you to make that decision. If you've struggled with your health, you're going to go back to the past. Let it go. Create right now with me if you want to get in the best shape of your life. If you want to prioritize health, everything in your life is going to upgrade with it. Every new identity feels like a lie right up until it becomes the most obvious truth about you. Now, I could tell you a truth. Any desire in your life right now, you are so much closer than your five senses are telling you. It is right there for you to name and claim. So I want you to do two concrete things with me. First, write exactly the type of health you're going to be. I am the type of man or woman that is in the best shape of their life. I am the type of person who's at my ideal weight, looking good and feeling great. I want you to write it out. Why? Because writing deepens our commitment on a subconscious level. First, write that identity statement somewhere. You'll see it every single morning. Your mirror, your phone, lock screen it. Journal it every day because we got to be reminded. We don't want to get distracted to the next thing. You have to prioritize your health. I'm telling you, it is going to change every result in your life. And remember, the mind always moves towards whatever it rehearses. Second, install one question you ask before any choice. What would a healthy person decide right now? At the restaurant, at 10 at night when you want to scroll instead of sleep. That question answers itself, and it does the deciding for you, so willpower never has a chance. That's the whole engine. Identity decides, behavior follows. I'm going to say it again. Identity decides. That means you make the identity not from the person you are, but from the person you desire to be. And behavior will naturally follow. Everything I'm about to give you is just that identity expressed in daily action. Speaking of which, let's get into the body. Sleep is your highest leverage health move there is. And high performers treat it like a weakness, like it's the opposite. They have a badge of honor that says, I only need 4 hours of sleep. That's a big error. Sleep is where your energy, your mood, and your decision making can get rebuilt. Here's the action. Pick a consistent wake time and a consistent wind down time. For me, it's 5 a.m. Wind down is 10 p.m. for me. And guard them like business appointments. Set an alarm at night, not just the morning, that tells you to start shutting down an hour before. Get the screens out of the last stretch before bed. You're not too busy to sleep. You're not too busy not to. I'm not going to hand you a meal plan because plans break. I want this at an identity level so it's a natural part of you. I'm going to give you a principle that survives travel, stress, circumstances. Build every plate around two things, protein and whole foods. Things that come from the earth, not a factory. Make that the anchor and let the rest be flexible. And before the coffee in the morning, drink a big glass of water with lemon. Most of the afternoon fog people blame on age or stress is just dehydration. This is the simplest energy win on the list, and it costs you nothing. Notice what we're not doing. We're not obsessive counting, no punishing restriction. You're a healthy person that makes the default choice most of the time. That's it. This isn't about perfection. Set a floor you never go below, even on your worst, busiest day. Non-negotiable movement, non-negotiable nutrition. Yours might be a 10-minute walk. The point isn't the workout, it's the health consciousness. It's that you never break that identity. A healthy person moves daily. They get their 10,000 steps. Then a few days a week, train with some intensity. Lift weights. Push yourself mentally. Strength is energy you can feel. But the daily floor matters more than the perfect program, because consistency builds the identity, and the identity is what makes it permanent. A keystone is one small thing you do first that sets the tone for the whole day and tells your brain, we're a person who follows through. For me, it's always cold plunging first thing in the morning. I haven't broken it since I started it October 1st. Through exhaustion, still do it. When I get back from a vacation, still do it. It's not on my to-do list, it's just who I am. It would be harder now for me not to do it than to do it. And it doesn't have to be a cold plunge. It could be 10 minutes of sunlight and a walk. It could be a cold shower. It could be a glass of water and 5 minutes of movement. Now you get to choose. Pick one. Do it first, win that. That micro win is going to get you to create massive wins. One micro win compounded into a bunch of micro wins create big wins. You win the morning and you've casted a vote for the identity before the day even starts. Stop relying on motivation and start engineering systems. Motivation fades by Tuesday. Environment works while you sleep. Make the good choice the easy one and eliminate the bad choice, the hard one. Don't be addicted to your old self. Your old self we want to starve. We want to let it die. Don't keep the junk food in the house. You can't eat at midnight what you didn't buy. Lay your workout clothes out the night before. Put the water on your desk and the phone charger in another room. Now remember this, you're not weak. You're just fighting an environment built to make you unhealthy. Flip it. And the healthy choice happens almost by itself. Now let me close the loop on the part that'll make you take this very seriously and how this reaches your bank account. When you've got energy, you make better decisions faster and you make them more often. When you're rested, you're more creative. When we make mistakes is when we're tired. I always tell everybody that I coach, when you've got energy, you make better decisions faster and you make more of them. When you're rested, you're more creative. And every dollar you've earned started as an idea your brain had the clarity to produce. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. That's when we make mistakes. A foggy, exhausted mind is an expensive mind. You're costing yourself so much. When you carry yourself with the confidence, with that certainty of someone who keeps promises to themselves, people feel it. They trust you faster. You make the bold offer instead of shrinking. You lead your team from strength instead of dragging yourself throughout the day. You sell from certainty and certainty closes. And the self-esteem you build by following through in your health doesn't stay in the gym. It walks in everything you and I do. It walks into your sales call. It sits at the table when you negotiate. It shows up as the quiet belief that you're worth what you're asking for, which is the single most expensive belief you can be missing. When I raised my health, my focus sharpened. My patience came back. And I had more presence, more knowingness with my family on the weekends, the thing I protect most. The body was almost the smallest part. For me, health was not physical, it was more mental. The energy it freed poured into everything I was doing. That is the formula lived, and it's available to you the moment you start the first domino. So let's make this impossible to overthink. Here's your first 7 days. Don't do all 6 perfectly, just start. 1, decide what your health goal is. Decide your identity and write it where you'll see it every morning. I am at my perfect weight, looking good and feeling great. Or I am getting in the best shape of my life. Or I am at my ideal weight, and then put that number and then match it with an image. Number 2, pick what time you're going to wake up. And I want a first health win, first thing you wake up in the morning. And then I want you to protect your sleep. 3, anchor every time you eat protein and whole foods and drink water. Always drink a ton of water. 4, set your daily movement floor, the minimum you'll never go below, and hit it every day, even if it's just a walk. Now, walking's changed my life. When I say just a walk, I'm minimizing it. If you make walking a habit, it's going to change your world. 5, Choose one pinnacle ritual and do it first thing before the world gets to you. Now tonight, I want you to spend 10 minutes designing your environment so tomorrow's healthy choice is the easy one. That's it. That's 6 moves for 7 days. These are not hard moves. Now here's the one rule. When you miss, and you will because you're human, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about creating habits. You don't quit. You don't say, oh, why bother? You get back. But the rule is you don't miss 2 days in a row. Missing once is life. Missing twice is the start of a new identity and new habits, and not the one you want. So let's bring this all together. You came in thinking health was one more thing competing for your time. It's not. It's the foundation underneath the time. It is costing people literally millions of dollars. When you take care of your health, your income is going to soar. Why? Because when you put attention on respecting yourself, you're building an identity, and you're never going to out-earn a poor identity. You raise your health, you raise your energy, you raise your focus, you raise your confidence, you raise your self-esteem, and you raise your identity and your power to earn. This isn't motivation, these are facts, and you have to learn them, and we have to get started right away. Now remind yourself, I don't need to be perfect, but I need to start one domino today and refuse to miss twice. Decide who you are and let the actions become the proof. Because you never attract what you want, you attract what you are. You're not behind, you're one decision from a different engine. And let me tell you something that I told one of my clients a week ago. I said 6 months of discipline can replace 5 to 10 years of constantly starting and stopping. Now, the same identity shift that is running your health, that is running my health, is the exact mechanism that runs your money. Same principle, different room. And you got to remind yourself, every principle feeds off of every other principle. So if your income has felt stuck no matter how hard you work, that's not a strategy problem. And I broke the whole thing down in the video on your screen right now. Go watch it next. And if you haven't yet, drop it in the comments. What's the first thing you're going to do differently when your energy comes back? I read every one. I'll see you in the next one.